Day 2, our first full day at the Indiana Dunes, was spent at the state park. When we pulled in to pay our fee for entrance, the gal taking our money told us that the things that we absolutely needed to do while we were here included the Devil's Slide, pictured here. This massive dune is the first thing that you see when you pull into the parking lot for the main swim area. The boys' soccer team from a local school was using this dune to get their morning conditioning in, running this one and another nearby dune. While it might not seem that imposing from this vantage point, if I zoom in, perhaps, or maybe not, you can start to see just how long and how high this hike would be. The sand everywhere is very thick, making walking on it a real challenge. It's real great exercise. The west side of Devil's Slide heads down onto the hiking trails that go throughout the state park. Some of the hiking trails actually had some boardwalk area, especially in the marshier parts of the park. Notice that Hunter's carrying his shoes. Barefoot hiking absolutely is a must in the majority of the hiking in these very sandy dunes. This little guy was one of many that we saw eating at a feeding station at the Nature Center. Marguerite spent a great deal of time in this area taking pictures of the raccoons, hummingbirds, and a variety of other colorful songbirds that came to visit the feeders as well. The boys and I chose to hike Trail 8, which was a multi-mile hike that would take us up to Mount Jackson, Mount Holden, and then the highest dune of the state park, Mount Tom. Here, this is at the top of Mount Holden. Definitely the view that the boys and I enjoyed most out of the three on this hike. Perhaps this will give you a better idea why Mount Holden became a place that we wanted to return to one more time before we left. It's truly gorgeous up here. While it's only about 180 feet above sea level, it sure does feel like it's very high when you're hiking it, and looks like it's very high when you're looking over the vast Lake Michigan. This shot represents the east side of the Devil's Slide. If you come down this big part of the dune, you'll run smack into Lake Michigan. Swimmers at the state park use this part of the beach behind this very large 2-story concession stand and shower facility. As you can see, unlike the night before, the waves had positively died down. That was a bit of a disappointment to the boys, as their biggest thrill was jumping the waves the night before. The waters may have been calm, but the winds certainly were not. Rain threatened to fall on us throughout most of the day, and it was chilly on the beach. That didn't stop the boys from going in and enjoying the water, but they didn't stay in it very long. We seem to enjoy our time at the state park this day a whole lot more, walking and hiking and taking pictures of the boys running up and down the dunes. I had purchased a couple of rafts, hoping that we would be able to float around on Lake Michigan, but it's against state park policy to have any kind of flotation device in the water. So since we already had one blown up, Hunter decided he'd put it to use to see if he could slide down the dune with it. It really wasn't very successful because the sand is so thick on these dunes that it just blocked any progression that he was trying to make down the slope.